The CDC says, unfortunately, that masks are back. Kindergarten through 12th grade, vaccinated as well. Look, I'm going to be straightforward with you because there are so few people in the media who are willing to be straightforward with you. And what I'm telling you is probably a month, maybe 2 months in advance of what most of the ignoramuses in the media are telling you. So listen closely. The data reflects, out of Israel, that the Pfizer vaccine provides roughly 38 or 39% effectiveness against the Delta variant of COVID. That means it is less than half likely from keeping you from getting COVID, right? Initially, we were told, and I think they sold us the idea, that if you were able to get this vaccine, and again, I'll still say it, over 65 years old, you should get the vaccine. Same thing I told my parents. But if you got the vaccine, we were told effectively 95% effective. And everybody out there, if we got the vaccine, we were sold basically on the idea of COVID zero, that the vaccine would do to COVID what it does, for instance, to smallpox or measles, mumps, rubella, to all of these viruses, polio, that the vaccine would effectively eradicate the risk of that virus existing. And that was why it's so important to get the vaccine. What we are now seeing is a massive number of breakthrough cases. Now, the positive here is if you get the vaccine and you're elderly, then it appears that you are able to protect yourself from the worst results. But what we are dealing with COVID, and I want to make this clear, COVID is going to become like the flu, in my opinion, based on looking at the data. It is not going to get eradicated like smallpox or polio or measles and mumps and rubella with the vaccines that you might get for those viruses. Instead, it's going to become endemic. It's going to continue to circulate on a seasonal basis. There are going to be yearly shots, probably boosters, much like exist for the flu today. And the best response is going to be, if you are elderly or if you have suppressed immune systems, then it is probably safer for you to get the virus and be able to protect yourself going forward as best you can. But the idea that masks make a difference, or that kids who are not primary vectors of the spread of the disease and have not and will not, historically, based on the data, have any significant consequences from COVID, should be wearing masks is madness. Masks do not provide any, if at all, significant protection. If they did, there would be a massive difference in what might have happened in California or New York instead of Texas or Florida. What we have seen instead is nationwide a very similar rate of infection, whether there are lockdowns or no lockdowns, whether there are masks or no masks. Why is that? It's a highly transmissible virus that fortunately is not very dangerous or deadly to most young and healthy people. So, get vaccinated if you are over the age of 65. But we cannot continue with this cosmetic theater. It is well past time to return to 100% normalcy and not continue with the kabuki theater of all of these restrictions rearing their ugly heads again. Your kids don't need masks in school. My kids don't need masks in school. No one needs masks on airplanes or at airports. COVID isn't going anywhere. We have to learn to live with it, just like we have to learn to live with the flu.